Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Barbara and I love to create budget-friendly decor. If that is something that interests you, I hope that you will consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified the next time I upload a new video. And if you enjoyed today's video, I would love it if you like, comment, and share with your friends. This is the 6th video in my Christmas 2020 series. If you have missed my previous Christmas videos, I will have links to each one of those in my description box below. For the first project, I will be using this plastic drawer organizer tray that came from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the label, and then I'm going to paint the outside part and the inside edges of this tray with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And I just wanted this to look more like an enamelware piece rather than plastic. This only takes one coat, and then once that has dried on the outside as well as those inside pieces, I'm going to paint the top rim with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. This has a little bit of a lip on the outside of the tray, so not only do I paint the top rim, but I paint the outside of that lip. And I think this looks like a really beautiful enamelware piece. I'm also using this wood Merry and Bright sign from Dollar Tree and two of the 6-inch wood dowels. These also come from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to attach two of the dowels to the back of the sign with hot glue. And I just make sure that I keep close to the same amount of distance off of the outside edge of the sign when I place each one of my dowels on there. Once the glue sets up, I'm going to paint this sign with my Waverly chalk paint and ink. And I do paint the front and the back of the sign as well as both of the dowels, because when you put this piece together, you will be able to see the back of the sign as well. This only takes one coat. You get really good coverage because that's a pretty light colored wood, and the ink colored paint really does give you nice coverage. So once this has dried, it's so pretty already. I just love how that turned out. I am going to use some Christmas picks from Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to use some leftover pine cones and greenery that I used on a previous DIY. These were just some leftover pieces. And I wanted to cover up that glitter mostly on those pine cones. So I used Waverly chalk paint in white, and I painted like the outside edges of the pine cones, which gave it a nice snowy effect. And I went ahead and painted some of the greenery as well to give it a snowy effect. And I'm also going to use some of the garland ties. I found mine at Dollar Tree, but if you can't find the garland ties, you can also find those at Dollar General. And I think they come, I'm not sure, but it may be like 15 in a pack. So I'm going to use 7 of them. I started off with 3 of them, and then I'm going to take 4 more and fold those in half. And then I do give each one of these a dusting of the white chalk paint to make those look snowy as well. So I folded these in half because I'm going to use the garland ties as filler when I put all of my pieces together in my tray. So once you, of course, want to make sure all that paint has dried before you start decorating your tray. I went ahead and cut down some styrofoam pieces. This came from a block at Dollar Tree. So I just cut those down so that I can place those in the tray so I can put my sign and my greenery in there. So I held the sign up to make sure that my styrofoam blocks would line up so that I could put the dowels inside those styrofoam blocks. And then I just fill in the rest with the other pieces that I have cut. So I go ahead and just push the sign down in there, and then I take some hot glue and go around the dowels, thinking that it was going to be sturdy, but it wasn't as sturdy as I wanted it to be. So I took 4 of the wood cubes that you can buy in a package from Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to take 1 and place it on each of the back of the dowels and then one on each of the front side of the dowel. And then this gave it more stability and made it more sturdy so that the sign would stand up freely and not tilt and wobble over. Then I took my garland ties and just put one on each side, and then I'm going to take the pieces that I folded and I'll hot glue those down and wrap those around the dowels, one on each side, and then I'll take the other two and put those in the middle, and this is going to cover up a lot of the styrofoam pieces. And then once I get those pieces in the middle, I'm going to take my picks and I'm going to pull those apart so that I can put part of the pick around the dowel so it'll look full on both sides of the sign. And then I wanted to make sure that I had the pine cones in the front so that you would be able to see those as well as those beautiful red Christmas balls. So I'm just going to wrap those around, and I don't hot glue these down because they sit very nicely in there. And then once I get those in place, I'm going to take the other two pine cones and the greenery that I have already painted and just place those in the back, so I'll have some pine cones in the front and some in the back. And then the last garland tie, I'm going to cut that into 4 pieces so that I can use those pieces to fill in where you may be able to see some of the styrofoam. Just in a few little places there, you may be able to see some of the styrofoam, so I'll cover that up. And then I'll also take the pine cone that's in the front that's sort of dangling down. I'm going to glue that to the pick stems to cover where the stems meet each other, and it'll have a nice finished look. So I put a generous amount of glue on there so it will stay on those stems. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it is so gorgeous. Today I am collaborating with my sweet dear friend Jenny from Lovely Moments Creating. Her channel is full of amazing and beautiful budget-friendly DIYs. I will have a link to Jenny's video in my description box below. If you have not previously visited her channel, I encourage you to. She is one of the sweetest and kindest ladies and an amazing crafter. I know I can't wait to see the beautiful Christmas DIYs she has created today. For my second project, I am using this red truck Christmas ornament from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the hanger as well as the sign from the bottom, and I go ahead and take the tree off as well. Now save the tree because we're going to reattach that to the truck, but I want to paint the truck first. And of course, in order to paint the truck, I've got to get all this glitter off. And I found the easiest way to remove all of this glitter is to heat it up a little bit with my hairdryer to loosen that glue up. And then I could take my sandpaper, and I'm using 100 grit sandpaper, and it just sands very easily off of there. So I get most of the glitter off. You can't get all of it off because it's kind of down in all those crevices, but for the most part, I get the majority of the glitter off. Now I'm going to paint this with my Folk Art Christmas Red acrylic paint, and you may be wondering, why are you painting it red when it's already red? But this is, the Christmas red is a little bit of a different color, and it matched the stickers I'm going to use for this project a lot better than the original color that the truck was. So once that paint has dried, I am using my silver metallic paint marker, and this came from Dollar General, to draw in my wheelbases. And as I'm doing that, I realized I did not fill in the holes where the sign was hanging from the bottom. So I just used some spackling to fill those in, and then I'm going to wipe the excess off and then let that dry before I paint the wheels. So I just used a baby wipe to wipe that excess off. Then I took my black oil-based Sharpie and went around some of the edging to give it a little bit more of a rustic type look, and then draw my wheelbases in and colored those in, and then I drew the lines for the door. And then I'm going to take my silver metallic marker again, and I'm going to color in like in the back to make it look like that's where the bumper is, and give the door a handle, and then the front where the lights are. And then I didn't like the door was a little bit too dark, so I do go back in with my Christmas red and just touch that up just a little bit. Then I pulled the berries off of the Christmas tree because I really didn't want those on there. So once I get those off, and then I had to pull all that extra hot glue that was on there off, I'm going to paint my sign that I'm going to put my truck in with my Waverly chalk paint in white. And this is one of those shadow box signs. So I just remove the outside frame and the glass, and then I'm going to give that 2 coats of paint on the inside of the sign. And this is just like a cardboard. So once I get those in there, and I do just put 2 thin coats, letting it dry in between. And then, because it took 2 coats just to cover that green up, and then the design that was already in there. So now I am just going to hot glue the tree back into the truck, and I'm only gluing it right there at the bottom. I'm not going to glue it at the top because I'm going to add a little bit more to this truck. I'm using 3 of the wood cubes, and then I'm going to use some of this beautiful red ribbon with the white snowflakes on there, and I thought these would make cute Christmas presents. So I just hot glued the ribbon around the cube, and then I'll cut 1 piece to put on top of the cube, but I don't put any on the bottom because that side is going to be glued down. So I made 2 of the same kind with the red ribbon and the white snowflakes, and then I'm going to wrap 1 with this cute candy cane ribbon, using the same process, hot gluing it down and then cutting a piece to put on top of the cube. Then I'm going to take one of the tumbling tower pieces from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue that to the back of the truck because I wanted it to stand off of the frame a little bit more than just being flat on there. Now I'm not going to hot glue that to the frame just yet, the back of the sign. I'm just going to hold it up there because I'm going to put some of these wall stickers. This came from Dollar General, and I wanted to use the Merry and Bright, and I thought that, this red matches really, really well with the stickers. The Christmas red matched those really, really well. So I'm just going to put that at the top, and then I'm going to hot glue my truck down, and then I'm going to hot glue my presents around the tree that's in the truck. I also glue the tree down just to make sure that it stayed to the back of the sign rather than popping up so much. And then I'm going to use some of this sparkling faux snow from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put, I just wanted enough that it would show under the truck and a little bit on the truck so it looked like the truck was going through snow. And then I found that the easiest way to keep that from all falling out is to put the glass and the frame on top of it and try to line it up a little bit. And then you can quickly flip that over and then snap the back into place without all that snow going everywhere. Now it's fine just the way it is once you pop it in, but just for added protection, I put a little bit of tape on each side because I didn't want it to come loose and that snow go everywhere. And this project is finished, and I think it is so adorable. I just love how this sign turned out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of project number 2. For the third project, I am using a piece of scrap wood that I had in a pile in my shop, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to 25 inches long and 16 inches high. And then I'm going to take my orbital sander and sand down all those rough edges to make it nice and smooth. Now I know that not everyone has access to wood or they don't feel comfortable with power tools, so you could certainly use some foam board for this project if you are not comfortable with power tools or if you just don't have any scrap wood. I debated on whether or not I wanted to stain it or paint it, but this has been sitting out of my shop for a while, so it was kind of discolored. So I decided to go ahead and paint this with my Krylon chalky finished paint, and I will leave a link to that in my description box below if you are interested. And I painted the outside edges and gave the front of the sign 2 coats, of course allowing it to dry in between. And then I wanted to distress it some more, so I'm going to use my Deco Art chalky paint. This is gray color, and I will have a link to that in my description box below if you are interested as well. And then a nice stiff bristled type of brush, and then I'm going to heavily distress that. I'm pretty much emphasizing on where the wood grain is, those little knots that were on there. And then I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to be using one of the wall stickers from Walmart for $2.98. You guys, I was so excited when I saw this. So I picked this up, and then I'm just going to lay it out on my side to decide where I want to put it. And I want mine to stay on there permanently. I don't want it to come back off, so I'm going to use some Mod Podge to put that down. So I found it easier to just lay the truck out where I wanted it, and then I'll fold each side up and apply my Mod Podge underneath. So this is me just trying to make sure that it's straight and it's not crooked and wonky. And then, of course, it has all these creases where it was packaged. So I tried to use my Cricut scraper, and then I thought I was going to ruin the sticker, so I just found it was easier to use my hand and then put extra Mod Podge where those pieces were folded. So if you know a better method, let me know in the comments down below, because I just put a lot of extra Mod Podge on there trying to make sure I could get those creases out. And then it comes with this cute truck. That's the second time I've said that. It came with this cute tree to put in the back of the truck. And then I'm going to put peace and joy at the top of the sign. And to seal everything in, and also to make them look less like stickers and more like it was drawn on there or painted on there, I'm going to go over each of these pieces with my matte Mod Podge, so that takes some of that gloss out using the matte Mod Podge. And you guys, I absolutely love this sign. It came out way better than I thought it would. It is so beautiful. I'll show you in just a minute how it looks with all of that Mod Podge dried. This is so gorgeous. So you guys, let me know down in the comments below if you have a favorite, and if so, which one. I hope you guys will go over and check out Jenny's video. It's in my description box down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Please take care, and I will see you guys next time.